Alrighty, so I know that this is airing on Mother's Day, so let me definitely start off by saying Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, mother figures, even to those mothers who are no longer here with us. Um, Happy Mother's Day. I hope that it is a joyous one and that you got everything that your heart desires for today. I'm going to go ahead and start off this camp orientation. I'll start off with an introduction. My name is Kami. I am the founder and CEO of Black Lemonade. And this will be our fourth year doing our superhero summer camp. We are located in both Nashville and Evansville for the summer months. And so we will go ahead and go through our camp booklet. Any questions that you guys have, please put them in the chat. If I'm not able to answer them during this presentation, I will definitely answer all of those questions after the presentation. Alrighty, so as I mentioned, this is the Superhero Day Camp orientation. Summer camp begins on June 2nd and we go through July 25th. We are Monday through Friday. So a little bit about Black Lemonade. Black Lemonade was founded on June 3rd, 2020. I tell everyone we are dedicated to turning lemons into lemonade for our minority and underserved youth. Our mission is that at Black Lemonade, we provide ongoing support to underserved youth by educating and equipping them with tools that they need to reach their full potential. By investing in those who face systemic barriers, we create pathways for all youth to thrive. Because when we uplift the most vulnerable, we strengthen the entire community. And so who do we serve? We serve all youth. We serve all youth from different diverse backgrounds. It doesn't matter the color, the age, the race, the barriers that you face or don't face. We serve all youth. Our resources are dedicated to all youth who are facing systemic barriers, and we even have additional resources for the families of the youth who are enrolled in our programs. During our camp, we do group our students into grade groups. In a minute, you will see what that curriculum kind of looks like. We group them first to second grade, third to fifth, and then sixth through eighth grade. This is just to help ensure age-appropriate activities and engagement. We are committed to creating inclusive programming that intentionally provides opportunities for those who are considered minorities and a part of the underserved community, but that is not the limit of youth that we serve. We believe that when we serve all youth, we actually help all youth, whether they are facing those barriers or not. You're able to see how we do help, and you're able to be a helping hand as well. During enhancement time, which in a brief moment, we will go on over the time frame of when things will, the flow of camp. And so during that enrichment time or enhancement time, which is typically after lunch, students do have the opportunity to be grouped as one. We will still make sure that everything is structured and put into a place where students aren't confused. We tend to allow our older students to be leaders and to help guide our youth if we are doing team bonding activities, games, or anything like that. If we do observe that there's a situation where we're like, okay, we do need to go ahead and keep the younger kids with the younger ones and go ahead and put them back in their grade groups, we will make that adjustment. But that definitely does provide us an opportunity to allow them to interact and collaborate, fostering additional bonds, promoting leadership, and encouraging peer learning. All right, we are almost done hiring for our summer camp. We will be posting their pictures and their bios on our social media. So if you have not had a chance to check that out or follow us on social media, please use this QR code to go ahead and do so. All righty, another QR code. This is a very, very crucial QR code. This QR code gets you make sure that you are up to date on everything that is happening in the camp. Prior to this meeting, you all received an actual text message to your phone alerting you that the orientation was beginning. Those are very limited. The software that we use allows us to do those alerts, but we definitely want to make sure that we're only using those alerts for emergency situations only. So during camp, in order to stay connected, you will need to download this app. We will still send messages, but it'll come directly through the app instead of a text message to your phone. And just a technical check. Can everyone still hear and see me okay? How is the visual? How is the audio? Just put a message in the chat with an update on that. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So again, if you have not downloaded the ProCare app, please do so. We do everything through the ProCare app. That is updates as far as incident reports, updating, you're able to update their profiles as well, listing allergies. We also, alongside incident reports, we do praise reports. So we don't always like to, we don't only report what's bad, we report what's happening great at camp with your student. We're able to upload pictures and videos so that you can stay in tune with what's going on in camp, as well as sign in and sign out when your student has arrived and when they've been picked up and who they've been picked up by. So a little bit more into that. ProCare. Please download the app. Again, as I mentioned, you will be able to update those profiles in real time. We do ask that all parents go ahead and upload a picture of their student on that profile so that our staff can go ahead and get familiar with names to faces before the day of camp starts. As I mentioned, we do have a texting system, but the alerts that go directly to your phone are limited on a monthly basis. And so we want to make sure that we are only using that texting system for emergency purposes only. So please download the app. Attendance and check-ins. On this app, you will be able to see who signed your student in and at what time. Everyone that is listed on your ProCare account, whether that is a parent or guardian or an authorized pickup, everyone will have a 4-digit code. So upon arrival, they will need to type in that 4-digit code to drop off the student. And then at departure, that 4-digit code will need to be typed in again. After that 4-digit code is typed in, they will need to then manually sign their name. This just it's just another safety precaution so that you guys know exactly who picked up your child and at what time. And we're able to download those reports if needed for any other purposes for the parents or guardians. So it's super important to also update your profiles. We do not allow students to go home with anyone who is not listed on ProCare as an authorized pickup, even if, little Timmy says, oh no, that's Uncle Tom. If Uncle Tom is not listed in ProCare, my staff are trained to not allow Uncle Tom to pick up your child. Now, if it is a situation where you have utilized our messaging in the ProCare app, you should be able to message us and say, Tom Anderson, first name and last name, is going to be picking up my child today around said time. At that time, Tom Anderson will need to present a government issued ID before my staff will release your student to that adult. Again, attendance and check-ins are viewable by you all and viewable by us. Incident reports will be filed in there, whether that is something as small as a paper cut all the way up to your student is in the hospital. Now, I will mention emergency situations. You will not get an incident report first. You will get a phone call. Emergency situations are seen as physical injury, something that may have been sexual in nature, Your student has been in a verbal or physical altercation. Your student is um, needing emergency care and we need to get them to the hospital. Those are conversations, those are situations where we will have a conversation first before it is uploaded into ProCare. We don't want the first time you hearing of an emergency being via text. We want to make sure that we have a verbal conversation with the parent or guardian, with the primary parent or guardian in those situations. As I mentioned earlier, we don't only want to submit incident reports, we do want to submit those praise reports. So that looks like your student has, come to camp first 2 days, they're super shy, they're nervous, they aren't interacting, but on that day 3, your student just comes out with personality. They're interacting with other youth, they're making friends, they're being a leader. We want to let you know when things like that happen as well. So staff are being trained to ensure that we are submitting praise reports on a daily basis before they clock out of work. When it comes to additional safety and security measures within our curriculum, there are some things that we absolutely do not talk about. That is the LGBTQ, politics, religion. If there are any more, I will definitely make you guys aware of, but those are definitely the top ones that come to mind. We just believe that some things should be left to the parents in teaching their students. We do not persuade. We tell our staff that if there is a situation where the students bring up the conversation, and hopefully it'll only be the older students that bring up that conversation. As long as the conversation is productive and positive, we will allow them to have that conversation, but at no point in time will we intervene or interject or push upon them our beliefs and our morals in that area. We don't believe in limiting their voice. We don't believe in allowing them not to have those productive conversations. But if at any point in time we do monitor that it is becoming unproductive, it is not a positive conversation, we will stop those conversations. But at no point in time is that embedded in our curriculum. At no point in time is that a topic of discussion that we will engage your youth in. And if it happens with the younger kids, it will be a complete shutoff for that. Again, that's just something that we feel that parents should have sole discretion on when it comes to talking to their youth about those topics. Within that as well, I had one more thing on that part. I will come back to that if it comes back to me. All right, another safety and security measure. This is a closed camp, which means that at all times the camp doors will be locked. All exterior doors of the camp building will be locked. Both locations, both Nashville and Evansville, are churches within a community. There are people in the community who do community things, but they are not a part of that camp. And so we will make sure that all doors are locked at all times. And that is another crucial reason why ProCare needs to be downloaded on your phone, because if you decide to come, you're not going to be able to just walk into the building. We will have to have that notification. Hey, I'm 5 minutes away. Hey, I've pulled up. Can you get my child ready? I'll be there in about 30 minutes. So if we are upstairs or downstairs or across the street at a park, that we are able to get your student ready for that departure. All of my staff are CPR first aid certified. We also do epilepsy training as well as autism and cognitive abilities training as well. These are just measures that we like to take to ensure the complete safety and security of your students. Both locations do have cameras, internal and external cameras. So in a situation where there needs to be additional investigation on said situation, we do have ability to do that as well. As I mentioned earlier, alerts, those will come through your phone. I will let everyone know that the first week of camp, we do set the tone. We do our drills so that students know what to do in case of emergency. Unfortunately, every summer since we've started camp, somewhere in the world in the United States, there is an active shooter. And so we do go over drills such as active shooter drills. We do inclement weather drills as well. And in the past, they have fully understood the level of seriousness that it takes, the teamwork that it takes in order for all of our youth and staff to be safe during those times. Of course, we always pray that nothing like that ever happens, and it has not happened in a nearby camp of ours. And we also alert our local police departments that we have a camp in said area. So if we do need to be put on lockdown, we will make sure that that is done, and that we are given a call by the police department to let us know to go ahead and lock down because some matter is happening near our campsite. During those times, emergency situations, staff turn off their phones. There's only one person that is to have on their phone, and that is going to be the camp coordinator. The phone will be put on silent, but they will be giving out all updates through the ProCare system. We won't be taking phone calls during any emergency situations, such as the active shooter or something of dire concerns around that's similar to that. Reason being is if the active shooter happens to be inside our building, God forbid, they're inside our building and everyone's phones are on. The lights can signal them to where we are. Vibration, any type of noise can signal them to where we are. So during that time, there will only be one active phone available. And so please just keep in mind that we won't be doing any phone calls, but we will be updating you through messaging only. Medications, we do not have a nurse on site, so we will not be able to administer medications to your students. If there is a situation where your student takes a medicine at a certain time, you are able to definitely come in and take that medicine or give that medicine to them, but we cannot store or keep medicine on site. The only medicine that we will have on site is something similar to like a Tylenol or an ibuprofen, EpiPens, goodness gracious, asthma. What are those things called? If you have asthma, your inhaler. If a student needs an inhaler, that is fine. If a student has an EpiPen, that is fine. And then we will keep bare minimum Tylenol. We will do liquid or things like Benadryl and things like that on hand. But if there's ever a situation where your student needs to take Tylenol, that will have to be a verbal conversation as well as a message in ProCare allowing your student to take that medication prior to taking it. We are an electronic-free camp. That means that students are told not to bring their phones, no tablets, no computers, nothing like that to camp. We keep them engaged. We keep the camp fun. They're not sitting down with a piece of paper and a pencil during camp. They're up doing projects. They're up doing team bonding and team building activities. If students do bring phones to camp, that is fine. We do have a locker. They will be able to put a sticker with their name on it on their phone and put it in that locker, and then we will give those phones back at the end of the day. The only time that they are able to have their phones out during camp is on Fridays. Fridays are considered our fun Fridays, whether we're on a field trip or we're having a field day or a fun day, they will have the opportunity to have those phones and their tablets. But just know that we are not responsible for any lost or stolen items that are brought to camp. And again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. All righty. For our curriculum, our focus areas this year, still our theme is superheroes, but within that superhero theme, we have leadership, history, and community service. This year, our superheroes are HBCUs, which are historically Black colleges and universities. So that's why we're diving deep into community service and showing and teaching our students how community service has impacted our communities. Each week, they will be doing community service projects, things like planting a garden, writing, nice notes to nursing homes, maybe feeding the homeless, getting together blessing bags. We have outlined and detailed what potential community service projects will look like. However, for the actual development of our community service projects, those are being created by our high school students who are interns in both Nashville and Memphis. And they will be curating those and leading those for our youth. We will also just be learning about the history. Like I said, how has community service impacted our communities? How has it shaped our future? How has it helped just, all in all impacted our world? Our students will engage in a lot of leadership sessions, and I have listed the themes. So week 1, building a camp culture, establishing routines and habits for a successful experience. We have what's called a Black Lemonade Pledge. So our students will I apologize. I got a message that my connection is a little bad. I'm going to pause here and ask you guys if everyone can hear me and see me okay. And if you can, just put a thumbs up in the chat. All right. So week 1, we do have a Black Lemonade Pledge. That is something that all of our students have to memorize in order to participate in Fun Fridays. Alongside that, we are having all of our students create a elevator pitch, not only for themselves, introducing who they are as a leader in this world, but also just a tiny elevator pitch on what Black Lemonade is and what it means to them. So that first week is something that we will dive deep into, is that pledge, the Black Lemonade Pledge, as well as our elevator pitches, building bonds, setting the tone, and things of that nature. Week 2, we are virtually going to the state of Georgia, the Peach State of Leadership. Our theme for that week is going to be independence and self-reliance. Some of the featured colleges or universities that we'll be focusing on are Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta. Week 3, we will be virtually visiting North Carolina, the innovation state. Our theme for that week will be creativity and innovation, and some of the universities and colleges will be exploring our North Carolina A&T State University and Bennett College. Week 4, Alabama, the heart of empathy. So our theme that week is understanding and caring for diverse communities. Tuskegee University, Alabama State University are some of the HBCUs that we will dive into. For week 5, we will be virtually visiting Louisiana. Our theme for that week will be collaboration and teamwork. We'll be looking at universities such as Dillard University and Southern University. Week 6, Washington, D.C., with our theme of honesty and ethical leadership. We will be focusing on Howard University for that week. Week 7, Tennessee, the volunteer state of resilience. So that week we will be focusing on resilience and perseverance. Fisk University, TSU, and Meharry Medical College are some of the universities we will dive into as well. Week 8, the Sunshine State of Courage, Florida. Our themes are courage and bravery, with universities such as Florida A&M and Bethune Cookman University. And I will say within these weeks, the curriculum has been set to be appropriate per age group. So although we're saying universities, I understand that we do serve youth who are in first and second grade. their curriculum is not going to be as extensive as, let's say, our seventh and eighth graders. So it will be something that our youth will be able to manage and enjoy while they are with us. All righty. So summer camp timeline. So we do operate Monday through Friday. 6 a.m. to 7:45 a.m. is considered our before care. That we'll talk about pricing in just a minute for that, but that is that time. Regular camp starts at 8 a.m. So earliest parents can drop off without being charged for before care would be 7:45 a.m. We will have breakfast between 8 and 9. Breakfast will be made available between 8 and 9, but we like to have our students done with breakfast by at least 8:35, so that we can navigate into our what's tea time, the tea to our lemonade, if you will. During that time, we are setting daily expectations and awarding honors for behavior, things that students did the previous day or things that we've noticed in that current day. Then our students will be put into those grade groups and they will begin their educational rotations, being what I mentioned earlier, that community service, that history, and the leadership courses. We're looking at about 45-minute to an hour sessions. They'll rotate between three of those sessions. Afterwards, we will do a refresh moment, allow kids to stretch, shake it off, wash their hands so that we can get ready and prepared for lunch. Lunch is provided as well as breakfast being provided. We will have an hour designated to lunch. Both locations do have both a microwave and a refrigerator. Our lunches are being provided by the school systems. They both operate under the Summer Food Service Program, which is a federal program that is already in both of the locations of the schools, so the public school systems. So the lunches are very much mimic what they typically have during a school day. However, if your student has restrictions, allergies, you guys are more than welcome to have them bring their own lunch and we could store it in the fridge, allow them to warm that up and things of that nature. After lunch is done, we do a group cleanup. We make sure all the tables are wiped down, trash is picked up off the floor, washing hands, using the restroom as needed. Enhancement and extracurricular activities will begin around 2 and go until 3:30. At this time, we typically bring in outside partners. We've brought in Girl Scouts, we've brought in Recycle Reinvest, SNAP Education, really just to help enhance and further educate our students on the resources that are available in the community while making sure that they're having fun while doing so. During this time, we also have pre-planned activities, things such as team bonding activities, sports play, competitive opportunities for our youth as well. And then both locations have a park right across the street. And so sometimes we do take the opportunity for them to go outside and just enjoy the summer weather and touch grass and get off of these electronics. So that is a time for them to really unwind and wind down. I did have a youth actually ask a question to me yesterday during an event. Will we be doing a lot of homework? When I tell you guys these are more interactive educational rotations than they are school, your students will be learning by doing. Your students will be learning by bonding. Your students will be learning by meeting people that are in the community. Some things that we've done during educational rotations is go down to the courthouse. Sometimes we have had attorneys come in and talk to them. Mayors have come in and spoken to youth. So this isn't a typical school day. We don't want it to look as if it's school at all. This is not summer school. This is summer camp. So we believe that experiences are just as important as education. It just so happens that during these experiences, they are being educated as well. So after that portion, we will definitely make some time to get set and ready for the end of the day. We do what we call the reflection and honors via our lemonade locker, which I'll talk about briefly in a moment. So again, being very intentional on rewarding our students for, good behavior, things that they've done that wowed us, growth, and things of that nature. So there will be an opportunity. We believe in positive redirection. So allowing that to be used as promoting good behavior. Typically, kids see other students get gift cards or a mini guitar or, Mario cards or whatever it may be. And that incentivizes them to have days where they can also be honored for their behavior. Camp does end at 4 p.m. at both locations. At 4:10, if students are still signed in, there will be an auto charge for aftercare beginning at 4:10. So we do provide that grace period. And then aftercare will begin from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Refresh times, I do want to mention in between every educational rotation, students will have the opportunity to use the restroom, wash their hands, shake it off, take a break. If there is a situation where a student needs to use the restroom during let's say an educational time, we do have restroom passes that they will need to take in each classroom in order to go to the restroom. And if those restroom passes are unavailable in that classroom, that lets the teacher know that someone is currently in that restroom. If we are not doing a monitored group restroom break, the rule is that one student is allowed in that restroom at a time. We also only allow students to go into the restroom of their birth gender. And if that is a situation for your student where they identify as something else, please have that conversation with me so that we can designate a different bathroom to them. But boys, if you were born a boy, you will use the boy restroom. If you were born a girl, you will use the girl's restroom unless we have a conversation. Otherwise, there are a few restrooms in that building. So if we have to allow that student to use a different restroom, we will do so. Staff are not to use the same restrooms as students. So all staff have a designated restroom as well that they are only to use during our camp times. So at no point in time will a staff member and a student be using the same restroom at the same time. Obviously, that's just to prevent anything that could happen and just extra safety and precaution measures. Additionally, alongside our week one, where we set the tone, our students will be able to define our SWEET rules. And SWEET stands for safe, welcoming environment that everyone trusts. Week one, students will define safe, they'll define welcoming, they'll define environment, they'll define everyone, and they will define trust. This allows us to make sure that they are held accountable for the things that they have already written down and posted around the camp as far as what is safe. So if we say that safe is not standing on tables or standing on chairs, and then we see someone standing on a table and a chair, we're able to kind of redirect and go back to that poster board where they've already agreed that safe does not look like standing on the table or standing on a chair. So students will have the opportunity to understand and develop these rules, but the SWEET rules are the things that we go by when our students are at camp. All righty, so tuition. And then I did see a question in the chat. So our Evansville Summer Camp will be located off of, actually, if you are signed up on ProCare, I will message the camp location if this video is made public. So I will make sure that camp location is sent to you. But it is off of the riverfront, across the street near the Evansville Museum. Nashville, if you're familiar with Sweats, it is on that same street. Evansville, So going back to tuition, so tuition in Evansville, if your student is rising first grade through eighth grade, um, that is $560, which actually breaks down for all 8 weeks as $70 per week. Nashville, rising first through eighth graders is the same price unless your student is fifth grade through eighth grade, to which we have already given out all of those scholarships for that area. If your student will only be attending a few weeks, those weeks are $100 a week. That's something like two or 3 weeks, or maybe just a month. It will be at a rate of $100 per week. As I mentioned, that before care and after care, starting at 6 a.m. and ending at 6 p.m., those are $10 per week. So if you need before care and after care for that week, you are looking at a $20 charge for that week. Some people have already asked me, how do I go ahead and pay for that? For before care and after care, you will get an invoice and it'll charge the card on file if you have auto pay on every Friday. So anyone during that week who has stayed after 4:10 p.m. will get an auto charge for that week. So there won't ever be a situation where you are paying for before care or after care in advance and then you ended up not using it. For before care and after care, you will use it. You will pay for it as it is being used. We do offer sibling discounts. The first sibling is 30% off, and then any additional sibling after that is 15% off. MNPS is for our Nashville site. That is their public school system. So we do not combine discounts. So if your student is attending free because of the MNPS discount for that fifth grade through eighth grade, your second student doesn't get that 30% off. But the third student who is being charged would get that 30% off. And I'm hoping that that makes sense. So if we just don't combine discounts. So if you have someone who is on scholarship or attending at a lower rate already, or has that MNPS scholarship, that second child is not going to get that 30% off. It would have to be a third child in order to get that 30% off. All righty, when it comes to tuition, the first week 1 and week 2 must be satisfied by June 1st. And then the entire camp of June and July have to be satisfied by July 4th. All payments for camp must be satisfied by the designated due date located on your invoice. And I know that there's been some confusion regarding invoices and seeing that camp is $70 a week, but you're paying a lower fee, or maybe you're paying a higher fee because your payment plan started later in the year. So all invoices should add up to $560 in total, unless you already have a discount or a tuition scholarship or something of that nature. Every year for our camp, we have opened up summer camp registration beginning in December. So we have parents who have started their tuition in December. And so maybe they're paying only $20 a week, but they're paying $20 a week up until July 4th, when all camp payments are due. Things like that allows us to pay for all upfront costs. Field trips have to be booked in advance. Our end of the year field trip, we've gone to Holiday World, we've gone to Atlanta, we've gone to Memphis. Things like that have to be paid up front. We have to make sure that staffing is taken care of. We have to make sure that the reservations of the facilities are taken care of, and things of that nature. So that is why we make sure that all camp tuition is paid by July 4th, because we want to ensure at minimum that the end of the year celebration and trip is fully taken care of and accounted for. All righty, terms and conditions. Please note that our refund policy was developed because summer camps do have significant upfront costs, including, as I mentioned, the facility reservations, the hiring of staff, program materials, and other logistical expenses. So if you have paid for said camp, maybe you've completed the first 2 weeks, we took that in good faith believing that your student was attending and have already purchased those supplies and materials for that student to participate for those 2 weeks. So we will not be able to reimburse for any payments that have been made. However, if you wish to obviously, stop attending for whatever reason, which we do not foresee, we do believe in turning lemons into lemonade. So if there's ever a situation where we need to have a conversation, I would highly encourage us to do so. We never want to see anyone go, but if there is a situation where we do have to depart ways, obviously we will go ahead and stop any other payment plan arrangements. If you've paid in full, the last day for an issued refund was April 20th. And just for, future reference, anyone who does pay in full for summer camp does get a significant discount. Again, we open up registration for summer camp in December, so please stay alert. If you guys have not signed up for our newsletter on our website, we offer a lot of information in that area as well. All payments must be satisfied by the designated due date that is typically located on your invoices, but no later than July 4th. Any payments not received will result in the deferment of your students' participation in any upcoming activities. Default in payments. We do understand that things happen that are unforeseen or anything like that, but it is always essential to have a conversation with us as soon as possible. As much as it might be uncomfortable or as much as it might be embarrassing or whatever the situation may be. Again, we are here to turn lemons into lemonade. And if that is a situation where we need to work with you and develop a plan, an additional plan, then that conversation needs to be had as soon as possible. We just believe that timely communication allows for early intervention and resolution. And again, we do not want to lose any of our students or any of our families. We are here to serve. We are here to turn lemons into lemonade, but it is essential that you guys let us know these things as soon as they happen so that we can prepare for that. We did mention on our website that we have scholarships. Those all have been notified on who was able to get a scholarship. At this time, we do not have any more scholarships available. One thing that we do have, I forgot to put on this PowerPoint, is if you go to the website, blacklemonade.org/summer, you will be able to see a fundraising option. All you'll have to do is submit to that, and it is a t-shirt fundraiser. The more t-shirts that you sell, we add that credit to your account, and that will lower your camp tuition. If you have not received an email and have signed up for that fundraiser, you will get a notification, I believe at 8 a.m. tomorrow to begin that fundraiser as well. All righty. When it comes to behavior, so I mentioned earlier regarding the camp flow that we have reflection and honors for our students, and honoring our students will be done via a lemonade locker. So we gather all of the students in one area, and I wrote, don't tell anyone what's inside this locker, but since you can keep a secret, it is full of surprises and gifts for the students who have impacted our camp with their positive behavior. On a daily, students will be acknowledged in front of their peers for exceptional behavior, such as being a helper, a leader, a good friend, or for simply always having a smile on their face. The reasons are endless, but the chance at a gift must be earned. Typically, this locker is filled with a bunch of things from Five and Below. We have had some other donations come in, so we do have a lot of nice and neat prizes that our students can win on a daily basis for their good behavior. We have also, if we have a bad day or a bad moment, we believe that bad moments don't make for a bad day. However, we do have what's called a lemon report that gives students a chance to reflect on their behavior by answering questions that literally help them turn lemons into lemonade, just in case they run into a similar situation again. This report is in addition to the incident report that will be put into ProCare, that is sent to parents in the app. But this just gives students a time to reflect. There are some questions on there that say, what did I do? Why was it wrong? If they need to issue an apology, they can write that there. And then they come up with their own solution. And then that teacher will be able to sit down, and then they will actually go through that solution together and create a plan so that they have more better days than bad moments. We also have what's called a sweetener plan. And if after I read over this, if you need the link to the sweetener plan, please let us know. My grandma always used to say, come here and give grandma some sugar, which often means a big hug and a wet kiss on the cheek was coming my way. So this plan is for students who just need a little bit more sugar. Students who are on the autism spectrum or have diverse cognitive abilities are encouraged to ask about this plan. We've had students who may not know how to express their emotions. So we always want parents to fill out the sweetener plan so that we can have this printed in their profile for our staff to see. Let's say your student gets very upset when someone pokes them. Okay, student has gotten poked. Let's look at this sweetener plan and see, what does mom or dad do or guardian do at home when student is, super upset, angry, maybe they're rolling and kicking on the floor. What is it that you do at home that works that we can incorporate at the camp? So the sweetener plan has been made for situations like that. So if that is something that you believe your student needs in order to be successful at our camp, I will highly encourage you guys to ask for that link so you guys can fill out that sweetener plan. All right, as I mentioned earlier, Fun Fridays, where that is the only time students can bring their phones or their tablets, although we are not responsible for any lost or stolen items. Fun Friday is a day of freedom and relaxation. We will actually not be doing the educational rotations on Fridays. This is designed to let students unwind and celebrate the week's accomplishments, whether it's an exciting field trip, an action-packed field day, or engaging at camp activities. Fun Friday is jam-packed with activities that bring joy, build connections, and create unforgettable memories for everyone. So week one, our Friday field trip in Evansville and Nashville will be to the local urban airs. Week two, Nashville will be visiting the National Museum of African American Music, and Evansville will be visiting. We're actually going to change that to Rochelle Landers swimming pool. Week three, Nashville will be swimming at Centennial Sportsplex, and then Evansville will be visiting the Children's Museum. Week four, we were going to do in-house inflatables and a movie day. This will allow students to also come in and wear their pajamas, and then we'll have some food and things of that nature outside of the typical food that's delivered. In the past, we've had things like Chick-fil-A, pizza, or something of that nature. So these are at least the first 4 weeks of what Fun Friday will look like for students. We're still in the midst of creating the Fun Fridays for July, and those will be announced soon as possible. All righty, when it comes to camp and dates to remember, so June 2nd is the start of camp. June 3rd is actually Black Lemonade's birthday, where we have a community birthday party. So after their educational rotations, during enhancement time and after lunch, we will have inflatables, we will have cupcakes, and this is open to all youth who are in the community. Parents can stop by as well, grab a cupcake, take a picture with us, get some party favors. We will be turning 5 this year, so huge milestone for us with being in the community for 5 years, and we want to celebrate that with our kiddos. A reminder, we will be closed for 2 holidays during camp, June 19th and July 4th. We will not have camp on June 19th or July 4th. Our summer camp showcase, I put on here mandatory for parents to attend. I believe it is so crucial and so essential that parents, guardians show up for their kids, that it is important to have some type of representation during this showcase because more than likely our students have worked really hard to put this showcase together. Last year in both sites, we did a superhero museum where our students created their posters, where they introduced themselves as a superhero. They stood by their poster. They were able to dress up if they wanted to. And parents walked around, saw the museum, and then kids presented each of their posters to the audience as well. So it's a fun time. You guys get to see all the work and things that they learned. And so I say that this is mandatory because representation, it fills the hearts of our kids. When you guys come in and you guys are able to see everything that they've accomplished, it really does warm their heart, and it really does, it warms our heart just as staff being able to see you guys support your youth. So please lock in these dates. Evansville, July 21st. Is your showcase, and then Nashville is Tuesday, July 22nd. Our end of camp field trip is Wednesday, July 23rd. And I want to mention the last slide, we talked about field trips. Students are only able to go on field trips based off of behavior and attendance. Students have to have attended at least 3 days within that week in order to go on field trips on Friday. We don't want to make this a situation where students are only showing up on Friday because they know that we're not going to be doing our projects or anything like that. And we want to make sure that this is something that is earned and not just given. Same for the end of the year field trip. We have not come up with a measuring tool for attendance for the end of the year field trip, but again, it will all be based off of behavior and attendance. Each year we do a school supply distribution. I know the first 2 years we did a backpack with school supplies in the backpack. I know last year we did school supplies. Nashville was able to actually get bikes, and then Evansville, we actually took your kids to Walmart and they actually picked out all of their school supplies that they wanted. So that is the last day of camp. Students will need to be on site to get their school supplies. Last day of camp is Friday, July 25th. And we really just set you guys up for success for the start of the school year. So you'll be good to go with a backpack full of supplies or any other goodies that we may have for the youth during that time. All righty. So some frequently asked questions, and definitely if you guys have questions now, please feel free to put them in the chat as I answer these questions as well. And then we will be wrapping up. So how will I communicate with parents? It is, again, crucial, mandatory, and important to download the ProCare app. We send out text messages. We send out the incident reports, the praise reports. We've made a Facebook group in the past for registered parents to also kind of communicate things in that manner. We didn't do it last year, but if that is something that we see that we kind of want to do, we might kick that back into gear. Let's see, will my child be grouped with older kids and vice versa? Again, in our educational rotations, they will be grouped 1st to 2nd, 3rd to 5th, and 6th to 8th. Students will come together for meals and some recreational activities after lunch. If there is a situation where we see that students cannot manage being in a big group together, we will go ahead and put them back in their grade groups. Can parents volunteer? Yes, we specifically need more volunteers on Fun Fridays. So if you want to go swimming with us, if we're going skating, if you just want to come and spend time with your kiddos, that's fine. The only thing that we ask is that all parents do a background check. This just lets other families know that their children are around someone who they would deem as safe as well. Our student to teacher ratio for the younger kids, it is 1 to 10. So for every for every staff member, there will be only 10 students assigned to them. For our older kids, we have a ratio of 1 to 15. How do you respond to student behavior? I mentioned the Lemonade Locker as well as the Lemon Report. just holding our students accountable, allowing them to reflect on, what they did, whether that was good or a bad moment. We do work with parents in developing and implementing plans that work at home so that we can kind of mimic that at camp as well. My student is going to kindergarten in the fall. Can I register them for camp? No, you are not going to be able to register them for camp. If your student has not graduated kindergarten by July 1st, we will not have students attending who have not graduated kindergarten by the start of camp. We used to serve kindergartners, they just weren't able to keep up and things of that nature. So we do not serve students who have not completed kindergarten. I discussed the sibling discounts a little bit earlier. 30% off for your second kid, 15% off for any additional student. We do not combine discounts. So if you already have a scholarship or if you already have tuition covered based on the information provided earlier, we do not combine those discounts. All scholarships at this time have been awarded. I did mention we will have one day, 24 hours, where camp registration will open back up. And so please be on the lookout for that. Again, if you haven't signed up for our newsletter, you can go to blacklemonade.org and sign up. We do have some referral incentives as well. So if there's someone who hasn't secured a summer camp, have them sign up for the newsletter so they do not miss that opportunity to sign up. Bathroom breaks, as I mentioned, students will be given a bathroom break pass that lets staff know that if they don't have a break pass, then they are not able to send another student to the restroom. We do not allow more than one student in a restroom at a time, even if there are 3 stalls in there, unless we are doing a group supervised bathroom break, only one student in a bathroom at a time. Students are able to bring in their lunches. We do have both refrigerators and microwaves available. So if your student has an allergy or food restrictions, they are more than welcome to bring that food. For camp, send your student with a positive attitude and closed-toed shoes, no flip-flops, no sandals. Students need to wear tennis shoes at all times. And a reusable water bottle with their name on it is highly, highly recommended. Now, if we are on a field trip and it's better for them to have on flip-flops, please pack that in their field trip bag and bring that with them. But during camp hours, they will need to have on closed-toed shoes so that we don't have any oopsie daisies with the little toesies. With that as well, if we're at a field trip, we'll allow them to change their shoes out during that time. What not to bring to camp. So no large backpacks unless it is on Fun Friday, no electronic devices unless it's on Friday, no medications unless it is an inhaler or an EpiPen, no valuables, no weapons or sharp objects, no open-toed shoes, and no cash at all. We ran into a situation one time where a student brought cash and now the student has given out their cash to everyone. That is just something that we're not able to keep up with. They can bring cash if they need it for field trip days, but please put it in an envelope or a plastic baggie is actually better with their name written on it and the amount that's in the bag. So yes, those are that is the end of my presentation. As far as the questions in the chat, MNPS stands for Metro Nashville Public Schools. So MNPS versus what would be considered EVSC in Evansville. ProCare, I am getting the message via email and SMS, and I downloaded, but don't know. So if you forgot your email and password, you will need to reach out to ProCare themselves. Our team does not have access to login information. What we do have access to is if you've never logged in, there is a code that you need in order to log in. I will send that code at the conclusion of this orientation. So please, anyone who is replaying this orientation, please check your email for May 11th, sent from ProCare. I'm going to send 2 emails from ProCare. One, if you haven't signed up for a ProCare account, it will give you a code. And then the second email will be pins everyone's 4-digit code in order to sign their student in and sign their student out of camp when they do drop off and pick up. One other thing that I need to go over actually is transportation. So Nashville, Tennessee is the only one that actually has transportation. We have a 15-passenger van. I don't have the route set up as of yet, but I can tell you that we will begin in Antioch, Tennessee at 5:30 a.m. or 6 a.m. We will have bus stops, and we will not be picking up from homes directly. Antioch last year we picked up from, or I'm sorry, in fall break camp, we actually picked up from, the mall that is closed down in that area. So that was the pickup for Antioch. And then based off of everyone who said that they needed transportation in Evansville, based on everyone who said they needed transportation in Nashville, there will be designated bus stops and a drop-off time for your student. So yes, if there aren't any other questions, again, please download the ProCare app. I have seen a few messages come through ProCare, so I will be answering those questions. We do not have transportation through your school system. So this is Black Lemonade's transportation only. It is a Black 15-passenger van. I will provide the license plate number for parents for safety and safety issue or safety concerns. But no, we do not have a bus system that is offering transportation for our summer camps in Nashville or in Evansville. This will be our own internal transportation. All righty. Thank you guys so much for logging on to this orientation. I will also upload this PowerPoint on ProCare so everyone can view it as well. I hope everyone has a great Mother's Day, and we will see you soon. Oh, actually, one other thing. In ProCare, I will also announce the days that you guys can come to the campsite, do a tour, meet us in person, and things of that nature. So that'll go out in ProCare today as well. All right. Everyone have a great rest of their Sunday.